All right, all right, all right. Just getting all set up here. Live, general model live streams. How's everyone doing today? What is the best model Mercedes for a family of 5? Depends on how old the kids are. GLE or a GLS would be great. GLS if you've got young kids and car seats and all the gear, and once they're a little bit older, probably can make a GLE work, would be my guess. But, sorry. All right, just getting all set up here. All right, so how's everybody doing today? Big hi from Scotland. That's awesome. Thank you for stopping by all the way from Scotland. I love that. What are the best first Mercedes? Well, GLA, GLB, C-Class, GLC, that's where a lot of people will start. And it just depends on whether you want a sedan or an SUV. But, you know, those are kind of the entry-level cars. JQ, what's going on? Yep, a couple sales today. Got 3 new, and I haven't checked in with the pre-owned department yet, but how are the sales of the G580? They've definitely slowed a little bit. What's going on?
So still cut back, but in half, so an extra like 7 grand down, so I'll talk to you and Matt after on that, but.
Interesting. Seems a little. Oh. Okay.
Generous.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely discounting them aggressively because, which is too bad because everybody who has gotten one loves it. It is like the not one person has had anything negative to say about it, but this is just another classic case of people deciding that because it's an EV that they automatically don't like it. So, you know, it's too bad, really. Martin, hello from the Philly suburbs. Thanks for stopping by, Martin. I appreciate it very much. Hope you are well. And do they have Fiat in the States? They do. I don't know how many Fiat dealerships are left anymore, but they do have it here. I'm at Benz in New Jersey and just hit 38. You hit 38 deals. Wow, that's fantastic. You're cruising. That's a huge month. That is a huge, huge month. Let's see here. Why can't I get this webcam to cooperate? I guess it's just not in the cards. Would you ever want to own your own dealership? Absolutely. I would love that. Just got to figure out how to make it happen, right? Hang on, gang. What's your lowest credit score you've ever seen in your career? Oh, something in the low 4s, probably. Low 4s. Jake, brother, please lose the bow tie. No, can do, brother. Can't do it. Sorry. We have to wear ties as part of our dress code at work, and I wear bow ties, so I apologize if you don't like that. Han Solo, good to see you. What's going on? I work for CVS, and it says CVS employees get discounts on the Mercedes-Benz. Yes, that is true. CVS is one of our partner programs, one of our partner companies. So CVS employees do get discounts on new and demo Mercedes-Benzes. That is 100% correct. Rob, good evening from Rhode Island. Thanks for stopping by, Rob. Appreciate it. I live in Wonderland. Can a used Mercedes hide 20K negative equity? No. If you have 20K negative equity, the last thing that you should ever do is try to buy a used car. That your only option is to ride that out or get a new car that can be heavily discounted and go into a lease. So it's much easier to go into a new car with negative equity than it is a used car, but you've got to be very strategic, 100%. Lowest credit I've seen you get approved, definitely in the 400s. Yeah, the G580s don't qualify for any incentives, if that's what you're asking. Now, we do discount them from the dealer, but there are not any incentive programs. Tiffany, hello from Michigan. Thanks for stopping by, Tiffany. Appreciate it. MC, hi Doug. How common is the rear main seal leak problem with S63s? Is there anything to watch out for or preventative to be done, like replace the PVCs? Yeah. So it's a common issue with that engine, but you got to take that with a grain of salt. Common just means that it happens at least a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not happening all the time, but it is a known issue. So that engine was prone to having that particular issue. So it's really not. It's an issue with the those oil separators. and all that pressure gets built up, and then it causes the rear main seal to leak. So it's not the rear main seal itself really that's failing, it's the pressure from those oil separators. So have you sold an SLS? I have. I've sold an SLS myself many years ago. Is the CLA AMG 53 a good reliable car? Well, they're only about a year and a half old at this point, so we don't really have any historical data to say that it is or isn't, but I have every expectation that it'll be a reliable car. It's got an inline six engine. Those are relatively uncomplicated. They tend to do well historically, so I'm confident that they will prove to be a historically reliable car. Has Mercedes improved with depreciation? Mason, there are some models that depreciate less than others. It really just depends. But depreciation is not the result of a brand so much as it is consumers' willingness to pay pre-owned. So, Terrell Price, when it comes to leases, when you owe on a finance vehicle, how much would you estimate the vehicle payment would go up? I know it's a very number-specific question, just trying to understand the concept. So, general rule of thumb, on a 3-year lease, every $1,000 of either equity or negative equity that you have has about a $30 approximately impact. So if you had $10K in negative equity, for example, that's about $300 that would be added to your payment. If you had $10,000 in equity, that's about $300 that would come off of your payment. So that's just the quick mental math that you can do. Hopefully that helps answer your question. What's the best gas model to lease, Ron? I guess it depends on what you define as best. I mean, if you're just talking about like the lowest payment, then CLA or C-Class. No EQS SUV CPO right now. So, interestingly, for all of the negative things that people have to say about EQs and their resale value, people sure do love snapping them up at those bargain bin prices when they are pre-owned. Matthew Landry, what's going on, brother? How are you? Andrew Smith, hi from Scotland. Appreciate you stopping by. What's the best strategy to get into a Mercedes SUV if I have a Jeep Wrangler with 15K in equity? I'm guessing that is that negative equity or positive equity? I mean, if you have equity, then I would say you lease an SUV and you take that equity back, right, or at least the majority of it. And if you have negative equity, then you lease and you use the lease programs to get out of that situation as quickly as you can. What gas vehicle is the best leasing incentives right now? The GLA and the GLB. GLA, GLB, and C-Class are nicely incentivized right now on leases. Michael from Wilmington, North Carolina, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. Everyone, thank you for hitting the like button and hitting the follow and subscribe button. Appreciate it very much. Megan Marie Thompson, hi from Florida. Thanks for stopping by, Megan. And Alex, love your stuff on here. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. Do you like Mazdas, Nicole? I think Mazda's doing a great job. I think Mazda has a really good product lineup right now. So yes, I would say that I'm a fan. Any promotions on the GLE? I wouldn't say there's promotions necessarily, but they do lease out better than they have in years past, and they hold their value very well. They're one of our top selling vehicles. So the GLE is, I like to call, our Goldilocks SUV. It's just right for most people. I think it's our best looking SUV. It's a great car. Love it. Dan Fisher, please touch on the high unlimited lease on program cars. You spoke on this in the past. Yeah, so Dan, what I mean by that when I'm talking about high mileage leases with unlimited miles, there's only one way to accomplish that, and what you need to do is you need to lease a former demo, right? So that is cars that we use in our service department as a loaner car, and when those get retired, they can be leased and they can be certified. So you can combine those two things to do a high mileage lease and get the Mercedes-Benz certified warranty, which is an unlimited mileage warranty. Right, so that's kind of a cheat code there where you can get the benefits of leasing, which is going to be a guaranteed exit strategy, and really all of the risk is off of you, provided, of course, we do the proper calculation on how many miles you're really going to need, and then you can certify it to get that unlimited mileage warranty. Prince Productions, hello from Mercedes-Benz in Boston. What's going on, Prince? How are you? Thanks for saying hi. Rob Taylor, hey from the UK. Love the content. Appreciate that. Noah, how's it going? Always been curious, what's the ratio for lease versus finance or cash on a new Mercedes? So historically, lease penetration for Mercedes-Benz has been very high. Before COVID, it was probably creeping up towards 70%. I would say now that we're out of COVID, it's maybe back more in the 50 to 60% range. During COVID, of course, everyone was buying cars, which I'm sure a lot of people regret. despite we our pleas for people not to break from their normal buying patterns. But now leasing is coming back in a big way. So, two reasons that I talk about leasing so much. One, luxury cars, they just depreciate more than non-luxury cars, and that's just because the buyers of those cars on the resale market are just less willing. They either want new or they want a deal. And the other part of it is that you just remove the risk from it, right? And most luxury buyers are a little bit more, they're getting a new car more frequently, okay? So that's just what ends up happening. That's just the consumer behavior. So we talk about leasing because it ends up making it easier for the consumer to get a new car every few years. Yes, Jared Williams. He was the first social media example. Jared found us from Texas on social media, and we were able to implement the unlimited mileage, high mile lease cheat code for him. And so it really is a real thing. And I think a lot of times when I talk about high mileage leases, people think I'm speaking in tongues, like it's like a fake thing, but it is real. Jared can vouch for it. Scott Mullaney, big fan. I appreciate that. Thanks for saying hi. Kesha has keys. Love your content. You've been a great contributor to Car Talk. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who has kind words, and I'm glad to come on here and chat with all of you. And for anybody that enjoys the content, that means the world to me. Make sure you share it with a friend. Justin Garcia finished strong. Thank you, brother. If you're in the car business, likewise to you. Which MB lease discount stack versus not? So lease cash is combinable with any of the other incentives. Otherwise, but everything else is just replaceable. So you get whichever is best. Yeah. So Jared, I can give a little snapshot of what Jared's deal was. He had a Jeep that was, he was in a big pickle there, and that was, let me see if I can pull it up here. Got to go back in the archives to find it. But anyway, Jared had a Grand Highlander, I believe, that he had to roll a bunch of negative equity into that, and then that market did what it's been doing, and so it really took a huge dive. And he had, I want to say it was like 50K in negative equity. It was something, it was big. Let me see here if I can. Okay, 56K in negative equity. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it actually total net trade was 57K upside down. And we, got into an EQS sedan, and that was obviously, we can deeply discount those, so that ate up a lot of that negative equity. We had to come up with a little money out of pocket to make up the difference, but on a 50,000 mile, per year lease, we were able to get the deal done and make 56K negative equity, 57K go away. Now, obviously, it's a big payment that he has for the next 3 years, but he essentially he's not paying for gas anymore, right? He was 50,000 miles a year worth of gas is a lot. I think, Jared, if I remember correctly, that's right, it was a G-Wagon here. If I remember correctly, you were spending about $1,000 in gas a year, and now you're spending, or $1,000 in gas a month, excuse me, and now you're spending about $150 in electric. Yeah, so $3,100. A month that you're paying on it, but you get back to square one. Really, it's a 3-year lease, but we with pull ahead programs and loyalty, we'll be able to get you out a bit earlier than that and get you into a new car. Yeah, it was. You're right, PG. It was a Grand Wagoneer. Yes, so I do have an email. You can email me, but the best way, if you want to, do business with us, then if you go to my link tree, there's a link to our website where you can put in your information to connect with the team. I really recommend that you do that, just because I have my entire team behind me that can start that process with you. I will get involved. I will be involved. It's just I get pulled in a million different directions every day, and it's DMs and even the emails to my BenzsandBowties email are really hard for me to keep track of, on top of also running the sales department for the dealership. So I definitely would recommend going to my link tree, sending your information there. That way my team can start the process and then they bring me up to speed. Okay, so Jared, yeah, you're paying $1,200 in fuel a month versus $120 in electricity a month. So think about that right there. So I think, when am I quitting to do social media full time? Yeah, AMAC, I'm definitely not doing that. Definitely not doing that. I don't even know what social media full time means, but that's definitely not something that I'm doing. So what people that drive high miles just have to come to terms with is that there's no cheat code to getting around massively depreciating a car. You really only have two options when you drive super high miles. You either buy a old car or maybe a Honda, Toyota, something that holds its value well, drive until the wheels fall off, and understand that you're just it's still gonna be expensive, or you do a high mileage lease. But there's no way around it being expensive to own a car and drive 50,000 miles a year. So we want, but if having a nice car makes you happy, there are ways that you can do it without getting into a heap of trouble. PG, hope to visit you one day during one of our trips to the Cleveland Clinic, which is, by the way, a spectacular facility. Absolutely, Cleveland Clinic is fantastic. We're very fortunate and blessed to have just an amazing hospital system here in Cleveland. And so, yeah, please swing by the dealership, say hi. Do you know when the 2026 GLE will be out and ready to order? So those are buildable now, but full disclaimer, the 2026 GLE is not a new model, okay? A lot of misinformation out there. If you're just looking for the next model year, great, we can do that now. If you're looking for the next facelift or refresh, that will be calendar year 2026, so that'll be next year. Jared, I can do a 15 to 80% charge at Buc-ee's for $11 here. Boom. Hey, apparently we're getting a Buc-ee's here in Ohio next year. That's gonna be a big deal. I hear those are like the coolest gas station ever. Craig, am I a Shedeur Sanders fan? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he can play in the NFL, and if he can, then I'll be a fan. Explain the benefits of having an LLC, particularly on a GLC coupe. So if you have an LLC and you're looking to buy a car, then that qualifies you for some business owner incentives on a lot of cars, but this would just be for paying cash or for financing the vehicle. So, Antonio, yes, we actually did sell that 4Runner. That 4Runner got sold this week. There you go, Jared. Yeah, come visit. And Ty, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. What is this? Holy cow, I don't know what that is, but it is epic. Dude, thank you, brother. Always good to see you. Hope you're well. Ty, another one of our social media friends that found us in Florida. Here's the craziness that exists out there. Ty moved from California to Florida. He had two cars that he wanted to trade for Mercedes-Benz, and the dealers in Florida were telling him that he couldn't do that, which was nuts. Your new streaming app just launched. That's amazing, buddy. Send me the details of it so I can check it out. I want to help support you on that. But yeah, it's like we take in 2 cars on trade all the time. We've taken in 3 cars on trades. Donald, what about the new CLE 250 electric? Don, I'm really excited to see that car in person and get my hands on that. That car is going to be incredibly advanced. Still don't really have very much usable information on it, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm Boogeyman, how to trade an Audi lease to Benz 1 year early. Definitely reach out to us. We can talk to you about that. We have an Audi store up in Michigan that will help us to take in an Audi off trade early, right? Because Audi does require you to go back through an Audi dealership, so we can use them to help do that. Any tips on getting it as a sales trainee at Mercedes in Europe? I'm already in the car sales industry. Best advice I can give you is that if you want to be in car sales and you want to work for a specific dealership, best thing you can do is just reach out to the dealership that you want to work for. If you've got a great personality, then you got a great work ethic, then they are probably willing to talk to you. Ty, yeah, let's talk about that. We'll talk about that. GT versus GTR, what's the difference? How can you see them doing the GT versus GTR? Are you talking about like the old GTR, because we don't have a current generation GTR. And CLS 53, no, we don't have any CLS 53. That car has been discontinued, so you'd have to find a used one. No, was I ever an F&I? No, I was never an F&I. I did skip F&I, but I do feel like I have a great understanding of it. I just never really spun the paperwork myself. Chris, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that. Thank you for everybody that is a new follower today or a new subscriber. Please continue hitting that like button if you would, and the thumbs up button. And if you're not following me already, I would love and appreciate a follow. Really do appreciate the support. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to grab a couple waters. All right. Paul, it seems like E350s are rare as hen's teeth. Interesting. I've never heard that one before, but yeah, I mean, Americans are buying less and less or sedans every year and going more and more to SUVs. So yeah, E-Class production has definitely been scaled back. 100% it has. And you know, it's too bad because the new E-Class is incredible. That's currently the most advanced car we have, for sure, the newest design language we have, and I'm a big fan of it. Really excited for the new E53 wagon that we're getting this year. Audi of Rochester, Michigan. Yeah, that's our sister store up in Michigan. Do I have a twin there? Not that I'm aware of. Is there somebody who looks like me there? At what point in a lease do you get out of negative equity? That really just depends on the car that you lease. The car that you lease and what your residual was. What GLEs have power rear seat reclining? So you would need to get a GLE that has the third row package to get the power rear seats. So GLEs come standard as a 5-passenger. They can be optioned up to a 7-passenger. And if you have that third row package, then you get power seats in the second row. If we have a client looking for an S580 out in Virginia, can we make it happen? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but we can definitely talk. Donald, the CLA is supposed to be available a little bit later this year. What is the best C-Class lease with AK and negative equity? You'd want a demo C300. Demo C300. $12K in equity, how to get into a new Benz. So DDK, if the world is your oyster, right? You can do whatever you want, really. I mean, we can definitely talk through those options, but if you've got equity, then you can take all or most of that back in a check and then get into a new lease. In Germany, we already have the E53. Do you already have the E53 wagon? Because we have the E53 sedan here, just not the wagon. Can you explain the negative equity having to buy a G550 to get a G63? So you don't have to buy a G550. It's just that we give priority. So here's the way G-Wagons work for us. Priority goes to current clients of the store first, and then top priority of that list of people is people that bought a G-Wagon from us and are trading it back to us. So the issue is that there are so many people who have bought G-Wagons from us that are trading them back to us that we can't really ever get away from that list, which means that we can't even get really to the list of people that are just clients of the store. So because of that, we end up in a situation where people they either buy a G550 or a G580 or any of the pre-owned G-Wagons that we have. They drive those for a little while, and then boom, they are first in line to get a G63 at MSRP. And the reason we do that is that we put that in place because it was the most efficient way that we could identify who should be getting these G63, because G63s are ripe for abuse. They're like Porsche GT cars. There's a million people that want them. A lot of people just want to buy them and flip them. And it's, if we're not going to sell it at market value, which we don't, then we want to make sure that we've got a good kind of reciprocal relationship with somebody. BTG, I'm sorry, if this is so boring, you're free to leave. Any V8 sedans left in MB? Yeah, we've got the S580 is a V8. Where does your dealership rank in MB sales leasing overall in the U.S.? So overall in the U.S., we're typically about, top 100 dealer out of about 400. So, being out of Cleveland, Ohio, we're pretty proud of that. JK, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Do you have a job? Yes, I do. I do have a job. Our G63 is scheduled to be made in the factory on 6/4. When do you think it'll arrive? So, David, that would either be, end of June or early July, just depending on how quickly it gets put on a boat and gets overseas. Ever been to Stuttgart? No, I have not been to Stuttgart yet. Would love to do that, just have not gotten around to it yet. Any manual transmissions on the lot? I think we have we had a used BMW, I think, with a manual, but we may have sold it. So manual transmissions are not super common anymore, that's for sure. Is the Maserati Ghibli a good car? Not high on my list of recommendations. Zoe, I appreciate that. Favorite TikToker and Benz guy, appreciate it very much. Thanks for stopping by. What do you drive now? What did you drive before working at Mercedes? So I drive an EQS 580 SUV right now. Dr. Fosley, hey, I need a G-Wagon. I know you and everybody else. I can help you on pretty much any G-Wagon other than a G63. New S-Class will also be next year. Other than the new CLA and E-Wagon, all of the new product is next year. GLE, GLS, S-Class, all of the EQs are getting redone, and hopefully CLE and E63s will be next year. I signed up for the monthly market estimate emails on my vehicle. Has that service changed recently? Haven't seen an email in a while. It shouldn't have, but thank you for bringing that up, because I will get with the team and ask if there's a reason why the emails aren't going out. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate that. How do you divide up the internet leads? So, Stephen, we have a BDC team that handles all the internet leads as they come in, and whoever's available to grab it can grab it. And then once that's ready to be handed over to sales, we send out an email to the entire sales team, and then it's whoever is available, first come, first serve, gets it. So we want to make sure that whoever is taking that lead is ready and available to help. We don't want people taking leads. We don't want to do like a round robin if somebody's not ready for it. Chuck, shout out to Don, really help member of your team. Doug, hope all is well. Thanks for the great content. Chuck, thank you. Really appreciate you, and for giving us so many opportunities to work with you. And looking forward to you getting your new CLE 53. That is, as I'm sure you know by now, my number one favorite car that we have in the lineup. And it's just been I'm glad that Don's taking good care of you, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to keep helping you out. It means a lot to us. So. If you're trying to sway someone away from BMW, what's your best pitch for MB? So, Nico, I would never try to sway anybody away from BMW. I think that BMW, I would say, is our closest competitor. I think they're amazing cars, and it really just comes down to personal preference. So it depends on which, what you like more. What styling do you like more? BMW airs a little bit more on the side of sporty, and Mercedes a little bit more on the side of luxury. So it just comes down to which you like better. But my days of trying to sell people on things are over. Sean, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. 14 million of inventory the team has left you, or are you talking about Jared? Yeah, Jared did leave. Chuck, it's fun. Love the test drive earlier. Yeah, they're a blast, and they're a good. I think they're a good Goldilocks type car, right? Plenty of power, but not over the top. Good size. Really a big fan of those cars. So, Rick, why does the G-Wagon brake jobs cost $10K? I know it's quality parts, but that seems way high. Yeah, G-Wagon brakes are just very expensive. They are. The calipers are huge. The rotors are big. Hold up just a moment. Hey, what's going on? Okay. What is it? Is it outside? All right, hold up. Let me pull it up in AccuTrade. So 2020 was 76,000 miles. All right, I'll be right there. All right, bye. All right, gang, hold up just a moment. I can take TikTok with me, but YouTube and Facebook, you'll have to hang tight for just a minute. I'm going to go look at this Audi that we have here that I got to go appraise. So hang tight, be right back. Yeah, I can trade his that phone. Hmm? Okay, well, I'm live, so don't be annoyed too loud. Okay? You okay? All right. All right, sorry about that, gang. Thanks for hanging tight. All right, do you get A35 and A45 over here? No. When the A-Class was sold here in the States, we got the 35, but they never had the 45 here. All right, so this Audi was actually quite clean.
Hey Steve.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think this is one of the cars that just came in? Because it says it's out and out of
Let's see, we had rear bumper, there was a scuff.
350. Possible. We got stock number.
Trying to see Austria. Hello from Austria. That's amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good service history on the car. But very miley. 76,000 miles. That's very miley for the year. MVZNO.com.
They're left for today. You can
Bowtie Joe, what's going on, Bowtie Joe? Jared leaving was a big mistake. We'll see how that works out for him. Corey, do you feel the newer Mercedes hold their value well compared to other brands' newer vehicles? You know, Corey, it's hard to say. I never encourage anybody to buy a luxury car, Mercedes or otherwise, with the expectation that it's going to hold value super well. I can tell you the short list of cars that hold their value very well, which are going to be G-Wagons, GLE Coupes, and GLC Coupes. GLEs in general, like GLE 350s, hold their value quite well. But, you know, it's just luxury cars are finicky, right? Because the consumers that buy them are finicky. Chloe, what's going on? How would I land an interview at a dealership? No experience, just eager to work. All you got to do, you know, raise your hand, reach out, right? Reach out to them, send emails and call the managers of the store. I mean, when I was young and in sales, I had not. I had just started at Ford. I'd only worked for Ford for 3 months, and then I reached out to a Mercedes store and, you know, got connected with the GM, and they sent me an online personality test and then brought me in for an interview. So, I mean, the thing about car sales is that there's not really this, like, prerequisite you've got to have to work in a car dealership. Like, I think a lot of people expect that you have to have some kind of crazy experience. You don't. You know, we hire people. There's certain personality traits that we know do well, people who are eager and stay busy and are willing to learn. You don't have to have a lot of experience. In fact, I would argue that a lot of the people that have a lot of experience in this industry are not great, right? I mean, you all see that. You all see what the average dealership brings to the table. It's not good. E. McIntosh, yes, Barry is still there. He's off today, but he is still here. How do you balance doing the right thing and earning a great living? Doing the right thing for the client. Well, I think that because we always do the right thing, and we know that we're a for-profit business, so we're not shy. You know, we're not like telling people that we don't make money. We just give everyone a great deal, and we do it quickly, right? For us, it's all about speed and efficiency, and giving people the easiest car buying experience that they've ever had. And so, yeah, we're going to make less selling a car than a lot of other dealerships will, but if we can sell twice as many cars as them and 10 times as fast, then it all evens out in the end. So that's kind of the way we look at it. No, we do not. There's no markup on a G550, and you know, G63s are also MSRP, but for our current clients that are trading a G-Wagon back to us. When does it make sense to lease a vehicle over any traditional finance? If it's a luxury car and you're not keeping it for 6 years or longer, lease it every time, no exceptions. Blake, Jared isn't here anymore. Yeah, Titanium, we definitely have lease deals on GLE 350s, absolutely. Corey, I've been with Mercedes-Benz for almost, you know, this will be my 15th year coming up here, if you can believe it. Crazy. Great experience every time we've worked with him. Yeah, Barry's an amazing guy. Takes super good care of his clients. KYM Franklin, love my GLE. That's awesome. Love it. You have a hard time hearing me? I'm sorry about that, John. I don't know if there's something going on with the audio, but is there an incentive for when there's an out-of-region customer sales? Is there a reason to offer a better deal? No, we don't have you know, Mercedes doesn't do that, so there's not going to be a different incentive for you being out of the area. You know, it might cost you more to get a car from us than it would locally, but you know, we're banking on the experience is going to be a lot better, and you know, you'll have a relationship down the road. Like, I know a lot of people roll their eyes when I say that we want to have relationships with our clients, but that we really truly do. You know, and when clients want the cool, hard to get cars that come out, we want them to know that they can reach out to us, and that because of that relationship that we've had, that we are going to take care of them. We're going to move them to the front of the line. We're going to hook it up, and that when they call, we're going to answer. We're going to take care of them. Right? They have an issue. We're going to be there. We're not just going to say, "Oh, forget it." So, no, I don't know that I have any G550s that are currently not spoken for, but G-Wagon deals do fall apart. It does happen. Sometimes people can't end up getting approved for them. You know, for one reason or another. So they do become available. If a G550 becomes available, I will definitely post a video and let you know. Patrick, love the content. Keep it up. Appreciate that, brother. I really do. Thank you to everyone who's hanging out today. Please make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already, and if you're not following already, I would love and appreciate a follow. And yeah, thank you. Jorge Posada, you mentioned Amex. So no more American Express. I do apologize for that confusion. I have an editing team now that is going through content that was filmed last year. And so, sometimes American Express gets mentioned, but that program did end at the end of the year. So, but there are a lot of other ways to get those same incentives. Do Geely 53s end up having more engine issues later compared to 63s? Not that I've ever heard of. I don't really ever hear about Geely 53s having engine issues. Do you have a favorite Mercedes color? I would say that right now my favorite color is olive metallic, 100%. Cody Carter, what's going on, brother?
G-Wagon.
The top Toyota salesperson in the country is in the house, baby. What is the number one car you sell? GLC is the number one volume car here in the States. It's a small to mid-size SUV. Americans can't get enough of those, right? Jack, wife and I have never leased. Speaking of 800, income 350K, what would be a good intro lease to get into the brand? So Jack, C-Class GLC, a great place to start. GLE if you want to go a little higher up the ladder, but I always encourage everyone to start with a C or a GLC. You mentioned getting prepaid maintenance. Is it beneficial as a cost savings or solely the fact that you can finance it? Get it if you're leasing, but not if you're buying the car. It doesn't make any sense to get it if you buy it. It's just when you include it in the lease, it gets residualized, which means that you're only paying for a portion of the actual cost of it. What's a really fun Mercedes to drive? I mean, Nicholas, there's a lot of them, but right now the CLE 53 is top of the list for most fun Mercedes to drive. Natalie, been watching and trying to learn to get out of the car message you're in. Well, hopefully there's some helpful information in there. How much time goes by between when you record and when you post the videos? Depends. So now that I have an editing team, a lot of the videos are from several months ago. But I do post, occasionally I will record something that I think is a little bit more relevant or topical, and I want to get it out in a more timely fashion, so that might go out same day. Kim, what's going on? How are you? Let's see. Do you have any advice for an incoming F&I manager? Yep, I would say learn all of the products that you offer. Find the ones that offer that clearly have the most value to your customers, and perfect your pitch on just a couple of them. You don't want to try to sell everything to everybody. Any CLE Intel, any CLE 63 Intel? The best I know is that if it's hopefully scheduled for next year. So end of next year is when I'm anticipating it. Kenneth, will Mercedes bring back a similar squared off looking vehicle similar to the GLK series? The GLB was kind of meant to be that, so I'm not sure that we're going to have anything in addition to that. But yeah, I don't know that we're going to get anything else. About to start back at Mercedes dealership in West Virginia after selling for Mercedes in Myrtle Beach. What would your best advice for starting at a new dealership? Will, again, if you've already been with the brand, then you have a lot of the product knowledge that a lot of people might not have when they're new to the company. But the best advice I always give is that identify whoever the top performer is at that store and hang around them as much as possible, right? Learn from them on what they do and don't do, what they say, how they say it. And the people that don't sell a lot of cars, stay away from them. They have bad attitudes. They'll try to drag you down. They'll blame everybody but themselves, everybody and everything for their lack of success other than themselves. I'm looking at the GLC 63 SE Performance AMG, but I want it in Verde Silver. Very nice choice. I've only seen 3 online. Yeah, that's going to be a rare color for sure. So you might not, you can reach out to us if you want, and we can do a search of not only what's on the ground in the country, but what's incoming, and see if there's anything that fits what you're looking for. But yeah, there's not going to be a lot. Corey, yeah, Mercedes is very affected by the tariffs. So we don't, right now they're eating the cost of the tariffs, but as are many manufacturers, but I'm sure that's going to end shortly here. And so when the 2026 models roll out, we would expect that those are going to start to absorb the cost of the tariff and start passing that along. So we'll have a better idea in the near future. Is there a possibility of paying your remaining lease payments early to turn in your lease vehicle? Yeah, you could. You could, Tony, 100%. So that's what's called your balance to maturity. So on a leased vehicle, you have two things. You've got a payoff, and a payoff, whether you leased a car, bought the car, is just that's going to pay off the car, right? You own it now. Or you have your balance to maturity, which is the sum of your remaining payments and a turn-in fee if there is one, and that brings your account to maturity and would mean that you've satisfied your lease, but of course at that point you're just turning it in. Oliver Fragrance Co., what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Thank you again for the fragrances and the candle. My Dob kit whenever I travel is full of all of your little fragrances, so I appreciate that. Yo, Sam, what's going on? What's good? How are you? Will Garrett, one more thing. Is the bow tie something to get you to stand out, or did you grow up rocking bow ties? No, I started wearing them in 2014, and I did it just to, be a little different. I was working at Mercedes, and we wore ties every day, so it just made sense that when I learned how to tie a bow tie, I said, you know what, I'll start wearing those and it'll be a little different. So John, the S-Class will be next year. Mississippi Melissa, OG in the house. That's right, OG for sure. OG for sure. What's your best lead provider? I would say Cars.com and Car Gurus, most likely. And social media, of course. Do employees at your dealership have employee lease programs? Yes, Mercedes does have some employee lease programs. Terry, good to see you again. I'm driving an EQS 580 SUV right now. The top tier interest rate right now would be high fives to mid sixes. Are the lease worth it on the EQB? I mean, yeah, it's a lot of car for very little money, 100%. No, E63 will be next year. So, well, I'm going to hop off now. I got a couple of things that I got to wrap up for the end of the day, but I do appreciate everyone hanging out. And again, humbly ask, if you're not following already, please hit the follow button or the subscribe button. And I appreciate everybody's support and hope to see you all in another live very, very soon. But thank you for hanging out, and until next time.